it play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to this unboxing video of The Edge Dawnfall. What the heck is The Edge Dawnfall, you might ask? It is a board game, board/miniature game, created by Awaken Realms. Awaken Realms started off as a painting commission studio. They still are, actually. They've been a part of our painting partner program for 4 years now. They've painted awesome stuff for us, such as our Space Hulk miniatures. They painted some of our Primarchs. I know Vulcan was painted by them. They've painted zombies for us. They've painted all sorts of the big corn demons for us, like the Lord of Skulls. They have been fantastic partners with MiniWarGaming in the past. And if you remember, or if you were around for it, I actually played the Edge board game a couple of years ago, I want to say it was. Well, since then, they had a Kickstarter because they were so surprised by how popular this game became that they had to do a Kickstarter so they could launch a larger line. And this is the result of that. They sent this enormous box to us to unbox and play with. So you can look forward to some battle reports, as well as a how to play the Edge Dawnfall game as well. I'm actually looking forward to this, so hopefully you're going to be looking forward to it as well. So I have actually not yet really looked inside this box. I opened it up just to look at the top, make sure all the components were there, but everything is still shrink wrapped, everything's still untouched. So I am not even 100% sure of all the stuff that we are going to find here. So you and I are going to go on a little journey inside the box. Here we go. Ha! Let's get rid of that. We've got a letter to the Kickstarter backers, and there's actually apparently a couple of surprise gifts, which we'll take a look at. A core box of Siege Storm, a deck building game, and a playing card deck featuring art from their upcoming board game, Etherfields. So they actually have a lot more products coming out, and they actually have done other projects in the past as well. So here is the inside of the box. We've got books. We've got a huge war chest. Ooh, we got a campaign secret envelope, which you do not open unless instructed to do so. And then we've got styrofoam. There's the war chest. Holy moly. Oh, this thing is huge. And there's our Storm Siege. There's our Etherfields art thing. And then it looks like something else. Oh, this has actually been opened a little bit. I think we checked the base sizes. Darkness. Let's go through these one by one. First off, right there. Oh, there we go. We've got The First of Us. This is actually a little graphic novel set in the universe of The Edge. So you can kind of get an idea of the feel for the universe, this fantasy, all sorts of different kinds of things mixed together. And it's got gorgeous art and a really cool story. I can remember seeing this. Oh yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, that's new stuff right there. Oh, this is so cool. So you can read that. We have got The Edge Battle for Eldhain, collection of stories. So more lore. If you're like me, if you want to get into a game, you get into its lore first, the game second. Now, unless, certain games can get away with that. But most games I get into because of lore. Then we've got this gorgeous art book. I know it's all reflected, so let's take the shrink wrap off. Nice opening page. So we've got beautiful artwork here. Oh man, that's really good art. I am very impressed. This is not like a company of hundreds and hundreds of people. This is a small company that's able to produce this level of quality, obviously commissioning out art and sculpting and who knows what else that they do and all their processes, but we can just kind of get this idea of the dark world of The Edge. So that is our art book. Before we get into the big box and the smaller box, let's just look at the bonus really quick. This video is not about this game, but I want to show anyways this box. Storm Siege, a game by Marcin. Sorry, Marcin, I don't know how to say your last name. Marcin's a great guy. He's the one that I've communicated with a lot. Unless this is a different Marcin, in which case, sorry, Marcin. Okay, so this is a deck building game. You can see, well, oh, there we are. So you can look out for this one. So, Siege Storm is a game of unending assault and awesome blah blah blah. It actually says blah blah blah. I'm not just saying blah blah blah. Man, no one reads this text anyway. I mean, I get it. There are so many games on the market. The box art is kind of cool, so you can pick it up and give it a try. But let's be honest here. Is this game a gameplay revolution? Nope. Is it fun? You bet. Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll end up like one of those extremely popular TCGs, and you will be able to sell rare and unbalanced cards from this edition for indecent amounts of money. Better stay safe, right? So we're not going to get into this too much, but we got this cool little bonus of Serifia versus Styxia of a deck building game. Then, as it said, another of the bonuses was this Etherfield's deck of art cards for an upcoming game. Oh, it's a playing card deck with some art on the kings and the queens and the jacks. Interesting. That is a very macabre playing card deck. And then it looks like we got some extra cards back here with some artwork. Very nice. I have no idea what this game that's coming out, Etherfield's game, but you can keep an eye out for that with Awaken Realms. So, deck of cards. And the big war chest. I'm going to assume I should open this first before I open the other one, because that other one looks like an expansion or another army. So let's get to the main stuff right here. Wow, you can really smell the fresh board. I know Dave often goes, smell that, but it kind of makes me feel a little woozy. But that's good stuff. So we got this nice high quality board textures, or it's not board textures, but the actual board for the board game itself. The one that we played with a couple of years ago was one of their prototypes, so it was more just paper. So it's so nice to see this gorgeous looking board. You know what? Let's move this aside so we can show it better. So it looks like it's a double-sided board. Whoop, whoop, there we go. Aha! So it's a double-sided board. Let's see if we can center that there. So you can see it's all hex-based. And you'll notice there are big hexes and small hexes. That's because some of the creatures are actually on big hexes, and so they have to fit inside of these individual ones as they move around. And then other ones are on the small hexes, so they can kind of go anywhere. And there's some that are on double hexes or other ones, and they have to stay within those as well. And then there's room on each side for the various types of cards that you will be playing in the game. Now I can say this without having read anything because I remember that from having played it a couple of years ago. And flip it over, we got this really cool other side to it. I don't think the gameplay changes at all when you flip it over. I don't see any difference in how the board's set up, but we got other really awesome art. And I think there are two of these. Here's the other one. Yeah, this looks the same. Yeah, it's the same. So, a second board. And we've got all sorts of counters. See, these things I know modify the board. So we've got these, so these all punch out. So we got these cool crystal-looking things. Honestly, I don't know what these do in the game yet, but we will be getting into battle reports and doing a how to play. So don't worry about all these components. They're just really, this is the nice high quality. This is, honestly, this doesn't feel like it was home brewed. This feels like, and it wasn't technically home brewed, it's done by a company, but like this is all high quality components here with really good artwork on everything. We got all sorts of markers and tokens that I'm sure I will figure out as we learn how to play this game together. A card with numbers on it that probably has some significance. It counts in Roman numerals from 1 to 10. And the same on the other side. More tokens, blue and red. Still blue and red. And more tokens, brown and gray. I'm guessing that these are for the different factions, but we'll find out together. We got a big stack of stickers. All these gorgeous stickers that obviously are going to be meant to be put on stuff probably more permanently, is my guess, unless there's actually something we can put them on that doesn't, that they don't permanently stick to. Then we got faction sheets. So this is a chapter faction sheet. Chapter is actually one of the factions. We've got the demon faction sheet. And so you can see it has all the different cards that you can possibly have and their explanations and how they work. We got Vergar, is my guess is on as to how you pronounce that. Faceless, that is my personal favorite. They're kind of like the demon-looking ones. We got the Reborn and the Razak faction. We're going to be taking a look at the miniatures in just a second, and we will be playing with painted miniatures, even though what you're going to be seeing in this video is all unpainted for now. So, got all the faction stuff. This will allow you to more easily learn the game. This is not a hard game to learn, I'm going to tell you that. There's a lot of stuff here. Anytime you open up a new board game, it can be overwhelming, but I remember it not being hard to learn. But of course, like any other game, there's going to be a lot of depth to it. So the gameplay is pretty straightforward, but the depth comes from how all the factions and all the details and all the combos and everything that you can do with them. So it comes from the strategy, basically. It's kind of like checkers and chess. Not hard to learn, but more difficult to master. We have got a couple of campaign books. Oh, this is cool. I love when core games actually come with campaigns. So we've got a Faceless vs. Reborn campaign. Like I said, this is the first time I'm looking at them, so I'm curious of what's inside. So we got some lore. We got setup and special rules for everything. Oh, so it goes through a bunch of scenarios that you can play. So this is scenario 2, scenario 1. Looks like I skipped a page there by accident. And so it's just a grouping of scenarios, and they each have special rules for these two factions that you go through. And then, oh, cool. There's even a script at the end. So scripts, looks like you're going to be rolling for them, I'm guessing. Maybe, because I don't see 20s and 30s. But Reborn player chooses this, or subtract 1 from the Reborn forces counter. So there's going to be things that can interact with the game as well. We will be trying some of the campaign stuff out in our battle reports. We're going to be doing 3 battle reports in total, at least that's the plan for now. And some of them will delve into these campaigns. So this is the Razak versus the Burgar. So same idea, where you have the different scenarios, and I'm guessing it has a script at the end too. Yep, scripts right at the end. So we'll figure out what all that means, but I'm guessing that these will have an impact on the campaign as it progresses. Like I said, I'm going into this cold. I have not read all of this. This is new to me. Then we've got this pack. Oh, I can see that this matches up with the stickers that we had from before. So it looks like these are in episodes, or whatever E would mean. E sounds like episodes. It looks like there's some sort of campaign system here, is my guess. Almost like it's a campaign map, I want to say. There's a couple of them right there. Looks like we have a different one right here. And more right here. Oh man, I am actually really excited, because if these are campaign maps, or something along those lines, where it kind of affects how you're playing the game and as you develop, then that is very exciting. Looks like they got multiples of the same, probably because you use them up over time. That's my guess. Although it looks like, with this kind of paper, that the stickers would come off of them. But over time, any stickers will eventually wear out. Then, oh, we got one more campaign book, Chapter versus Demons. So Chapter, I believe, from what I can remember, the Chapter were like the kind of the good guys, the demon hunters. So we got a campaign of them versus the demons as well. Pretty darn awesome. And then, of course, we've got the rule book. And you'll notice it's not very big. Like I said, this game is not incredibly hard to learn. And it goes through what all those counters are. So here we are. We got our crystal source tokens. That's right, I remember now. You got to collect the crystals. And as you collected the crystals, you got to use them for stuff. And there's dice, turn tokens, victory markers. We've got endurance tokens and crystal tokens. I think the endurance tokens have to do with hit points. And then we've got faction tokens and cards. So it walks us through all the different components of what you need. It gives us a game overview, and it walks us through how the game actually works. So the setup, how the dice work, and basically just how the game functions. And I do remember it being really easy to learn. But then there was, after we played our first couple games, it's like, oh man, I could do these combos, or I could do these combos. And there was all sorts of really neat things that you could figure out. And so it goes through the game, how to start the match, the flow of the game, so you're basically your different phases, if you will, and what happens at the end of the game. Beautiful art too. It's this really nice looking book. And it goes over how the squads and squad cards work, the detailed rules, so you can probably, this is probably more advanced stuff. How you can give you more examples of how moves work, how the combat and shooting works. Wounds and victory points, how your playing cards work, because I remember there's like you have a deck of playing cards and that you draw from, and that they let you do special actions. And even some optional game modes. Oh, I love giving it, when the game gives you more than one way to play it, that's always fun. And then, as is always necessary, and every game should have, a rule summary, so that as much as this won't tell you all the rules, it at least gives you the basic rundown, because sometimes it can be overwhelming the first time, looking through all of these rules. Even though it's only a few pages long, it's still a lot to remember. So it helps when you have this rule summary to be able to be like, oh yeah, what happens next? Okay, determine first player. Okay, now we choose faction squads. Okay, now we do this. And then you can look at the more specific rules as you're figuring it out. It allows you to see the flow of the game a lot more. And that is the last page, and we have a pretty back cover right there. And then we've got the miniatures, which of course is the best part of all of this, and they are fantastic. Now, I would show you the ones that we already have painted, but they were the pre-production resin ones. They're not going to be quite the same level of quality as these. And so for now, you're just going to have to just look at unpainted models, and then eventually we'll have the painted ones, and that'll be shown in the how to plays and in the battle reports as well. So let's take a closer look at all of these. The cool thing about these is they're not pre-painted, but you could play them right out of the box because they all come with their own color-coded bases, so you can tell which ones are which. For example, this is the chapter faction. Let's take a closer look. Here they are. This is the unpainted version of the chapter. Now, this will not do them justice, so I've asked Awaken Realms to send us some pictures of painted models, so here they are. The chapter is your basic good guys. I'm not going to be very familiar with the lore of all of these yet because we're just getting into the game right now. But you can see that these are the models that come with, including this huge angel-looking one there, which is awesome. So they go around with their crossbows and their shields and their swords. So kind of a crusader, anti-demon kind of thing. And each one of the factions comes with their deck of cards as well, because you need cards for each of the ones. So the Angel of Death in basic mode has all these different stats, which you'll find out what they are in the how to play and in the battle reports. Next up, we have the really cool looking demons. This faction has obviously this big guy as well. You probably see this as a theme here, that we have big guys, medium-sized guys, and little guys, and these really cool, some sort of wizard-looking things with the vulture heads and the different kinds of heads, and of course a deck of cards. And these miniatures are not doing it justice because they're unpainted. So here are some pictures of the demons all painted up. This is the obvious rival to the chapter faction, as we see in the campaign book, Chapter versus Demons. Next we have the Faceless. Not demons per se, but some weird abomination that combines flesh with machine and these horrid looking creatures, which are so fantastically sculpted. And of course, once again, with their deck of cards, and here are some pictures of them painted, so you can just see how incredible these models actually are once you get them painted on your battlefield. You're free, of course, to not paint them, but they look so much better when you do. And then there are the Reborn with their faction deck. These are your dryad slash elfish slash forest creatures, however you want to look at it, more natural, nature's creatures, nature's protectors. And so they are one of the factions, and they face off against the Faceless in the campaign. And here are some pictures of them painted as well. And then we have the Razak. I'm going to roll the R because it sounds cooler. Razak! These are mechanical, arcane kind of creatures. I keep thinking, oh, this one's cool. Oh, this one's even cooler. Oh, this one's even cooler. And these ones just are so neat because they've got like guns and hoverboards and all sorts of other really cool machinery as well. And of course, they've got their own deck. And here are them painted as well. So the Razak in the campaign book face off against the Vergar, or the Devergar. I'm not sure how to say that exactly. But yeah, they just look at that. Just look at them. All right, just look at them. They're awesome. And lastly, we have the Vergar, or the Devergar, however you're supposed to say that. These are your dwarves who've created all sorts of weird machines. So dwarves typically in fantasy are depicted as kind of steampunkish and creating machines, but these ones are very interesting. Seeing them walk around with the double shields that they can use to protect themselves, or the machines that have hands for feet, or the big guy just running around almost like he's a guy inside of a robot, or maybe he is just a robot, who knows. All of these are inside of the war chest. Now I'm assuming that as you buy the factions individually, you won't necessarily get them all like this, but they do come in these handy dandy carry cases or containers that allow you to see that they're packed very nicely in here, and they're really easy to repack as well, keeping all your models nice and safe even once they are painted. So it's a handy storage container. You don't just throw your models all in there. They already have compartments in which they can be stored. Put that aside now. We've got one last thing to take a look at, and that is this, the darkness. So I have no idea what this is, so we're going to open it up and find out. Ooh, it is more models. I think it's actually another faction. It is another faction. Maybe the faction is called Darkness. I must be missing something. Oh, the Bellcrow. I remember seeing a picture of this. Look at that. Ah, it's such a cool model. It's got a bell and it's crow. Get it? Bellcrow. It's kind of sounds like Velcro. Oh my goodness. That is a gorgeous sculpt. So yeah, this kind of answers the question of what do they look like when they're packaged individually as factions. Oh, then we got this thing. Look at that. Don't even know what it is. I could probably tell just by opening the cards. The Slaughter Crows, Imposters. That is a Void Spectre? No, that is an Abyssal Empress. That's what that is. Oh, so neat. So you can see that there's each card, there's a card for each type of unit, and then there's all the extra cards that do different things. So let's just take a look at a couple more of these. So this is basically another one of the factions. So I know that they have told us that they plan on continuing to expand on this game, creating new additions, updating rules, creating new factions. Oh, these are so creepy. They're so awesome. The nice thing about these models too is just like in any models in any game, you could bring them over to other games that you play too. Like I look at these and I think about my narrative campaigns that I do for other fantasy games, and I think, oh, these would work really well for this. They've worked really well for that. So they wouldn't be very, if you even wanted to change their bases, it wouldn't be very hard to pull them off of that and put them on new bases. These are very nice miniatures just for any use. So if you're a collector of fantasy and science fiction miniatures, then this is a definite must-have for you as well. That's it for our unboxing today. I hope that you enjoyed going through that as much as I did. I am super hyped to try out this game. I haven't even played a game of it yet, of this stuff. Like I said, I played a couple of years ago, but I'm really looking forward to trying out a few games. So you can stay tuned. Soon we are going to be having a few battle reports and also a how-to-play video that shows you how to play The Edge. So you can check all that out coming soon to MiniWarGaming. And a big shout out and thank you to Awaken Realms, of course, for providing this to us and allowing us to be able to review it and to play the games for it. So thank you, Awaken Realms, for providing us with this opportunity. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Happy wargaming.